Hello friends and enemies. So in the past I've reviewed the Yu Yu Hakusho figures from GT Toys Dasin, so a third-party company not officially solicited, but it's Yu Yu Hakusho, and there is a severe lack of Yu Yu Hakusho merchandise in the world. So, in past reviews we have looked at Yusuke and Kurama, and I was super pleased with them. So we've also got Kuwabara and we've got Hiei. Today we will be looking at Kuwabara, and in another review we will look at Hiei. And then our team will be complete. Of course, you know, if they make any other characters, I'm going to be all over that. Give us a Botan, please. So for the Kuwabara figure, we've got the same kind of packaging we saw with Kurama and Yusuke. Very simple, but it kind of works in his color palette. You've got his first name, his name in kanji, a little window so you can see inside, pretty bare bones everywhere else, Yu Yu on the back, warnings and such on the bottom. This product is suitable for ages 15 and up. If you give this to someone who is under the age of 15, you will be attacked by a demon tiger. So let's just go ahead and open him up. I haven't been keeping the packaging on these because it's pretty bare bones. And also, I don't intend to resell them, because I really love them. I'm pretty sure I've ranted about how much I love Yu Yu Hakusho in previous reviews, so maybe you guys don't need to hear that again. It's a great show, though, if you haven't seen it. It's a classic. And I've been really happy with these figures from GT Toys. They are pretty great. I don't want to simp too hard over them, because, you know, simp too close to the sun and your wings fall off. But they are pretty great. Of course, I say that, and then I take off Kuwabara's head, and his head joint is just completely mangled. His head joint looks like it's been through an industrial thresher. At GT Toys, I've spent the last, 5 minutes talking about how great you are, and now you give me a chewed up head joint where his head won't even really fit on properly. So I'm going to see what I can do to fix this. Okay, so I just shaved some of the pokey out bits off of that head joint. I don't know what it is about, QC issues lately. Like, I just did a review of the Mezco Wolverine, and there were some major QC issues with that too. I mean, in all honesty, something like this is much of a bigger deal than I'm making out of it. It's been a while since I've ordered and received this, so I don't even know if customer service could or would do anything about it. And also, it's not a part of the figure that is visible, so it doesn't bother me as much as it probably should. It's relatively easy to fix. And it's also a third party from an unsolicited line, so I don't know. I'm making all these excuses about why I'm semi-letting this slide. But yeah, it doesn't bother me as much as it should. A little trimming and it seems to have fixed the problem. I'll probably have to be a little careful about posing his head because I'm sure it's going to be pretty easy to just pop his head off with that kind of joint. It's also something that I could fix with some epoxy. Just get some putty epoxy and kind of round out that joint. I mean, I shouldn't have to, but it's something I can do. But man, I feel like a real big dummy just talking up this company and how much I love these figures, and then Kuwabara's head immediately falls off to show a head joint that's been gnawed on by a demon. It makes sense that it would happen to Kuwabara, of all people, though. So, that's a big knock on this figure from the very beginning, but I'm going to try and look past that and look at the rest of the figure. Parts that haven't been chewed up by a thresher or a demon or a large mouse. And so he's got the same type of body that we saw in Yusuke and Kurama. We've got the soft goods school uniform. So for Yusuke, Kurama, and Kuwabara, they are all in their school uniforms. The only one that we're going to see that isn't in a school uniform is Hiei, at least as far as the initial team goes. And one reason why I like these toys so much is that the likenesses are just spot on. I mean, that looks like Kuwabara. That's his face from the anime. He looks great. It's just like he stepped out of the anime and into real life, into action figure form. I love the real metal buttons on his school uniform, and under that are magnets, so you can open it up, and he's got his undershirt underneath. And under that, he's even got a little belt. One thing I will say is that Kuwabara, I think, is a thicker dude. Like, he should be bigger in the chest and shoulder area than he is here. But I can understand if they're kind of working off of one body. Looks like there's some staining on his shoulder here too. But Kuwabara is a character who will take off his shirt any chance he gets, so it's good that his school jacket will come off. Yeah, once you get it off, his shoulders look a little more squared than I thought they would be. So that's good. I believe he's got the same shoes as Yusuke and Kurama, but that makes sense because they're all wearing the similar type of uniform. So the likeness is great, but this isn't the only face that he comes with. And I can't remember because it's been a while since I've opened the other ones, but I don't recall the others coming with this many faces because Kuwabara comes with a lot. Here's this determined gritted teeth face, got a cocky smile with kind of a side eye going on there, a super serious face, probably when he's about to fight a demon or one of his teammates has been hurt, and an open mouth yelly face, and the detail is really nice here. I like the arch of his eyebrows and the recess of his open mouth. These are just like I feel weird for saying this after the head joint issue, but these are quality toys in my opinion. I don't know what happened with that head thing. So to replace the face, you pick your new face, whatever strikes your fancy. You remove the hair, and you stick it onto the new face. It's a system that works pretty well, though at a certain point, I don't know why you would just not make entirely new heads with hair and stuff. I guess to save material and money, but I don't know, at a certain point it seems like it would just be easier to make a whole head. But what do I know? I'm not a toy manufacturer. I'm just some lady. You know what's weird is I've gotten some comments that lead me to believe that some people might think that I am a child. And I'm not a child, I'm a grown woman. I just have a dumb voice. So swapping out the heads is pretty easy. In addition, he comes with some hands, extra hands. They're all a little bit rubbery, which is good because he will come with his spirit sword and you want him to be able to hold that. So let's replace one of his hands so he can hold his sword, which I will show in just a moment. So here we go, the spirit sword. So Kuwabara is able to manifest his spirit energy into a sword type object, which you see here. So it basically has all the powers of a real sword. It can cut things. In later seasons, it can actually cut through dimensions, and that's a plot point. The bad guys want Kuwabara because his sword can cut open a barrier from the human world to the demon world. And let in all the demons because the bad guys. And just slip that into his little fingies and he holds it really well. And it looks great. I love the translucent kind of almost fire-like effect. Makes me excited for what kind of effects we're going to see with Hiei. So in addition to that, he will also, like Kurama and Yusuke, come with a school briefcase, even though he and Yusuke are usually not in school. I guess Yusuke skips more than Kuwabara. And there's a wooden base like the others, and stand pieces. And these wooden bases can all kind of interlock. I'm expecting articulation to be basically the same as the others. Definitely going to have to do some work on this head because it does want to keep popping off. But the articulation seems good, especially with the inclusion of this neck joint. So you can get a lot of range out of that. I feel like a lot of action figures are missing neck joints. I'm going to take off his jacket just so we can kind of see the joints of his arms and stuff more. We've got this butterfly joint and drop down shoulder, but it seems a little loose on this arm. It's a little better on this arm, but this arm is just kind of stained blue with the fabric of the jacket, I guess. I feel kind of, like I said, I feel kind of dumb like hyping this up and then this one has so many problems. You've got a bicep swivel, a really smooth double elbow joint, a lot of movement in the torso. I really like the movement on these figures. You've got some movement here too. The pants kind of limit what you can do with the legs, and that's something we saw in the other figures, but it is alright. And rotation and rocker on the ankle. So yeah, pretty good articulation on these. Actually, better than what you'll see in a lot of action figures. So that's pretty nice for a third-party company. I want so desperately to overlook all the problems with this figure because at the end of the day, I always sound like whoosh. I really like it, but yeah, there's some quality issues with this one that, like I said, should bother me more than they do, and they do kind of bother me, don't get me wrong, but it's not really anything I would contact support about. Yeah, he looks a little thin. Kuwabara, I think, is like the largest and most muscular out of all of them. Maybe not the most muscular, but he is the largest. So he should be a little wider, but he is also a tall boy, so this looks good enough. I'm interested to see how he stacks up to the others because he is supposed to be the tallest. Kurama is the second tallest. And yeah, that looks right. I love that it's so accurate. So when I open Hiei, he should be the shortest out of all of them. He's pretty small. And then Yusuke should be a little bit smaller than Kurama. He looks a little bit taller just because he's got his spirit beast on his head. But yeah, the height for Kuwabara seems perfect. Kurama's already tall, but Kuwabara is a good bit taller than him. And so Hiei should be maybe about this big. We'll see when he... Don't get me wrong. A lot of things not great with this figure. A lot of QC issues. But overlooking that, which I probably shouldn't do, but am going to, it looks great. It looks like Kuwabara. It's incredibly accurate. He pairs well with the rest of the team. And I really like these figures. I haven't had any problems with Yusuke and Kurama. Kuwabara is the first one that I've had issues with from this line. So I'm not super quick to write it off as trash. Because it's not. It's great. I keep talking, like trying to justify my own mental gymnastics about why I'm not going to get too upset about this. But we've already been through that plenty in this video. If you guys would, likes and subscribes help a ton. Comments, of course, are more than welcome. It might take me a minute to get to them, but I try to answer every single comment. If you are a Yu Yu Hakusho fan, let me know, because I am too. Can you tell? Who would you like to see from this line? Because I would like to see all of the characters. Definitely want a Botan. Would love a Koenma. Genkai, Yoko Kurama. That would be amazing. Even like some of the lesser characters, like from the tournament arcs later, like Jin or Toya or whoever. I'd want all of them. I don't know if I'd want Toguro because he grosses me out a lot, but I know that he's a character people really like. He just like is so gross to me. But he'd probably make a great action figure. Anyway, I've talked enough. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.